I like to discuss the constellation diagram errors. In fact, there are actually three types of error. The first one will be IQ gain imbalance. The next one will be quadratic error. And last but not least, IQ offset. Okay, so before I come into the discussion on the error, let me quickly discuss how can we actually represent a QPSK message. For example, if the message is 00, okay, I can actually indicate by this green dot, okay, with a magnitude 5 and a phase shift of 0. So basically for QPSK, the message is actually on the phase. So now, for example, the message becomes 01. And again, from here, you can see that the magnitude will be still the same. However, the phase will change to 90 to represent the message 01. Next, when the message is 10, okay, I will have a phase shift of 270 to represent the message. And last but not least, when the message is 11, I actually can have a phase shift of 180 degree to indicate that the message is actually 11. So from here, you can see that all the message actually change with the phase. So basically, when we actually see the different phases, we will be able to decode the message. So next, okay, I will discuss about the error. Okay, so these are what we discussed earlier on. For example, the message is 00. I will have a magnitude 5 and a phase shift of 0. However, you know that in the practical world, there is no constant 5. For example, let's say we have some undershoot, which is 4.8. Okay, so basically instead of the green color dot, we are slightly undershoot. Or maybe we have an overshoot. So instead of 5, we become 5.2. So from here, you can see that there is no perfection. And because of this, we actually have this error, which is called as IQ imbalance. The idea of this error is basically the difference in gains between the I and Q signal, and therefore you can see that there is some slight deviation. Okay, so instead of perfect 5, okay, we can have maybe 4.8 or maybe 5.2, etc. on both the I and the Q. Okay, so this is the first error, which is IQ imbalance. Next, okay, will be the quadratic error. Okay, it will be the same thing. Okay, so from here, as I mentioned here, okay, there is no perfect 0 degree phase shift. For example, let's say we have some error. So instead of 0, it becomes 2. Or maybe instead of 0, it becomes -2. So from here, you can see that there is some phase shift error. So from here, you can see that this is actually what we call this quadratic error. So there is actually some error, and therefore we cannot have a perfect 0 to represent the message 00. So this is the second error, which is known as quadratic error. Last but not least, this IQ offset, which means that instead of at the center, okay, there will be some offset. So basically, you can see that the QPSK actually whole constellation diagram actually so-called shift to another position. If you're keen to know more, see the video under the description. Thank you so much.